Can you hear them? What? Why do I look like this? Because they could hear me. That's right. Welcome to the jungle. It's time to kick off Cannibal Week. Good morning. Soon to be good noonish in a little bit, guys. It's here. It's finally here. Cannibal Week. That's right. All week long, I'm going to be watching cannibal flicks and reviewing them. All week long. One step closer to green hell in the belly of the beast. That's right. Risking life or a limb to bring you all kinds of information about these sordid jungle cannibalistic goodies. Yes. Let's see. Nate says, woohoo, the naked prey. Yes, indeed. And well beyond that, I stepped into, yeah, the naked prey was pretty rad, though. Watch this film. Check it out. Backwards vision. Jungle Holocaust. Sean, I will get to Cannibal Holocaust. I am watching the movies in their chronological order. No, they're not all made by the same guy, but I'm watching them in the dates that they've been put out. And first off is Jungle Holocaust. Watch that last night. 1977. Now, I don't know. I'm going to try and pronounce the director's name. Ruggero Deodato. May have got it right, may not have. But either way, that's who directed the movie. Jungle Holocaust. Okay? Stars a guy named Massimo Fasci. I might have got that right. And co-stars a lady named Mimi Lai. Might have gotten that right too. Don't know. But watch that movie. My son Vinny just turned 18, so he had the pleasure of watching Jungle Holocaust with me last night. Now, oh gosh, it's a hard movie to sum up in a few words, so I really can't. But let me quote Vincent after watching the film. He said, "I'm going to hell for watching that movie," unquote. Here's two words he used to describe the film: vision rape, unquote. That gives you an idea as to what Vincent thought about the movie. But it's much more than vision rape, and I hope I'm not going to hell for watching it, because I've watched it quite a few times, so let's just hope that's not true. But what the film really is about, oh, and good morning, Sean, if I didn't say good morning to you too. What the film is really about is a guy, an oil business guy. I don't know if he owns the company or whatever, but he has some prospectors out, or a team out in the jungles of Mindanao. I think I pronounced that right. Southern Philippines. Big island down there. And he has a team there. He's flying down to see if they've found anything. They're, looking for oil. He and two other men and a lady are in a small airplane, and they land on this little crappy airstrip, and the runway or landing strip is in bad shape. They end up busting a wheel off of their airplane. The team is not there. It looks like they get to the camp, which are some tents and stuff. The radio's busted up, and the tents are torn up. They find weapons, chunks of weapons, and it looks like something bad happened to their team that was there. So these guys are kind of stranded until they find the tire to fix their airplane. Well, they find that, they put it on the airplane, but it's getting dark, which means they got to stay overnight, and it's all jungle around them. Okay, it's all jungle. And there is a little bit of talk about, oh shit, there could be tribes and stuff around here, some savage tribes. So they camp out in their plane overnight, and everything's going pretty groovy until the lady with them, I think her name's Swan or something, she ends up having to go potty in the middle of the night. Well, that is the beginning of the end. So she goes outside of the plane. All of a sudden, you hear some sounds, and the big oil executive guy and his pal are in there, along with their pilot, who looks like he might be Filipino, not sure. But he wants to get out and rescue the girl. And these guys are like, no, dude, you cannot, stay put. We'll look for her in the morning, whatever. They hold him down, and they're like, we'll find her in the morning, and then we're going to take off and leave this godforsaken island, right? They hadn't even been into the jungle, really. So, what happens is the next morning, they get up, they go searching for the lady, and they don't find her. They find a piece of her dress. Pilot dude's freaking out. Apparently he stepped on something and engaged a trap, and a giant spiked ball comes swinging from a tree and impales the dude, goes right through him, and kills the pilot. Okay, he's dead. I can't even remember his name. That's how important he was in the movie. But the big oil executive guy, his name is Robert, and he knows how to fly a plane also. And the other dude's name is Ralph, his buddy. I don't know what the hell he does exactly. He's a dude who wears glasses and works for him. And he knows more about the local tribes and how to survive in the wilderness and all that kind of stuff. So they end up, the Robert dude ends up freaking out, running into the woods or jungle, and gets lost, okay, with Ralph in tow, yelling at him, you're an idiot for running into the jungle, you don't know what you're doing, and he gets lost along with Robert, or was it Roger? I think Robert. Anyways, they both get lost in the woods, so they're like, oh shit, we don't know where the airstrip is from here. Okay, and what stinks is, I might not have mentioned this, but the pilot the day before did find that wheel and put it back on. Okay, so the plane's ready, but now these two goofballs cannot find it. They write the woman off as dead. Let's see, Sean says, I've only seen 3 cannibal movies, those being Cannibal Holocaust, Against Nature, and The Green Inferno. I've seen all of them except for Against Nature. I'll check that one out. So these dudes get lost, and they figure, okay, well, we know the river ran past the airstrip. When they run into the river, and they're like, okay, let's build a raft. So these guys build not too bad of a raft in a matter of minutes, of course. You know how movies go. You got the montage of it getting lashed together and everything, and they build a raft, and they start going downriver, and everything's going pretty groovy, until they run into some real nasty rapids that are leading to a nasty waterfall. I mean, really rugged stuff here, guys. They're headed towards a waterfall, and it looks bad, and the one dude bails, Robert bails, and makes it to shore before hitting the waterfall. We're not sure, but we think Ralph went down the waterfall, is how they made it look. So these two dudes are separated. Now, Robert ends up finding some mushrooms stuck to a tree and decides, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat these mushrooms that I don't know a damn thing about. Great idea, right? So he eats these mushrooms, and next we see him bent over and puking all over, puking up mushrooms and green bile or something. Then he is laid down, curled up in a fetal position. He's in bad shape. Well, he passes out and wakes up to spears in his face from these tribe dudes. Okay, I don't even know if they ever even say I don't think they ever even say if the tribe has a name. Maybe they did guess at it later on. Anyways, doesn't matter right now. He gets captured by this tribe and taken to this huge cave where this tribe lives. Okay, I mean, and these dudes are out of the Stone Age. Their weapons are like bamboo and sticks with stone axe heads and stuff. And they strap him to a rock and strip him down. And they rip off his clothes and start passing them out amongst the tribal members. They're all going wild and enjoying this. Of course, Robert's not enjoying this. He's tied to a rock. Let me see what this says here. Yeah, Robert Harper. Okay, I did get the name right. He's tied to a rock. They rip all his clothes off, belittle him, and I mean, he's strapped to a rock. I mean, completely naked, and they start messing with him a little bit. We'll put it that way. You can watch a movie if you want to see what I'm talking about. So, yeah, in comes scenes of full frontal nudity, okay, of a dude. So, if you might not, you know, a lot of people might not care to see that. I'm not saying that I do care to see that, but it's what the hell happened in the movie, okay? It happens. So, what's up, Chris? I'm talking about Jungle Holocaust. Also titled Last Cannibal World. That was another title for it. And this movie really was a precursor to another one of Deodato's, I think I'm saying his name right, his second cannibal film, which is even more notorious and more well known, and that is Cannibal Holocaust. Okay, and which I will end up viewing and reviewing later on this week. Okay, but Jungle Holocaust came out first, so I'm doing it first, plain and simple. But Jungle Holocaust. So he gets captured by these guys. They think maybe he can fly. They tie up Robert to a rope, pull him up, very high up to the top of the cave. I mean, this is a big-ass cave, guys. It's really high. I don't know. 50 feet high? You know, probably, at least. It's a very big cave. And then let him plummet. He's tied to a vine. Kind of bungee jumping down, and then it stops abruptly just a few feet before the ground. And they almost kill him doing this to him a few times. I mean, it's really wow. And they end up keeping him captive. They've got a little part of the cave, which they have a giant bamboo, what is the word, portcullis type thing that holds him in there. Okay, it's like bamboo bars and shit holding him in there. He can't get out. And up to this point, we are also privy to several scenes of what these movies were very notorious for back in the days, and that is the animal violence. Okay, we get to see, let's see, we see a snake get in a fight with a monitor lizard of some sort. I think it's a monitor. And get to watch it, and the snake, you know, eats the lizard. Let's see, I think we see a snake versus a bat at some point in this movie. And this is real footage. And this put off a lot of people. We see the tribe ends up capturing, what did they capture and eat? I don't know, I'm guessing a python. Or a boa constrictor. I'm guessing a python. This snake was huge. And they end up eating this snake. They end up capturing a crocodile. Okay, they use an eagle tied to a rope as bait to catch a crocodile. Alright, really weird stuff. And they show them eat the crocodile and prepare the crocodile, you know, while it's alive. Okay, and that's the part that, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, this is just awful. And I was talking the other day about how people, especially nowadays, 2018, If they watch this movie, a lot of people are going to be completely offended by it because of that. But this happens. It's documented in the film. Am I saying the film's a documentary? No, but it's quite clear that these people that were in the film as actors are obviously a real local native tribe. I mean, this is these people know what the hell they're doing. We'll put it that way. But this dude, yeah, he ends up being subjected to a lot of bad stuff, being locked in this thing. And it doesn't say how many days exactly he's kept captive by these people, but I mean, he even ends up getting peed on by a bunch of little tribe kids, peeing on him from overhead. He ends up befriending, sort of, a female tribal member who suspiciously, compared to the other tribe chicks, the few other ones they showed, this one tends to be very good look. She ends up being very attractive. And, it's, right off the bat, okay, this is going to be the star chick of this movie. This is, because she doesn't look quite like the other chicks. I mean, she does not look like she's grown up in the jungle, we'll say. Her proportions and everything, we'll put it that way. So he ends up sort of befriending her. And dude's in there long enough to start growing a beard. And ends up, when some tribesmen come to get him, he ends up cracking them on the noggin with a rock that's in his kind of jail cell. And escapes, okay, and takes a girl with him, right? He forcibly takes this young lady with him, and let's see, Sean says at least they ate the thing and didn't kill it just for kicks. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they were eating these animals. I think the part that really would get people, and it got my son, upset him, was the fact that, they were preparing this crocodile when it wasn't even dead all the way. That's the part that's gonna really offend people. So, me talking about this, if you're listening, by now you already know if this is your cup of tea or not. Okay, you already know. Now, the director claims that the scenes with the animals and stuff were added after he made the picture. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't involved in the making of this picture. What's up, Gary? Talking about a movie called Jungle HOLOCAUST. He says that these scenes with the animals were added after the fact, after the movie was made, because there was a market, and the Asian market really liked these graphic animal violence scenes, okay? And he's not the only person I've read or heard say that in the Italian film industry in the 70s and 80s. From all the stuff I've read and documentaries I've seen that pop up a few times, that there were a lot of countries in Asia that really liked that kind of shit in their movies. The animal violence, okay. But, I mean, there's just, they have it in there. And I can say, from viewing the movie, it does seem like some of the scenes are just jammed in there. Like, they don't necessarily go with what's going on at the time in the movie. They just seem, boom, just inserted in there. Okay, not naturally part of the story. But getting back to the story, the man escapes with this young lady, and he's got her leashed to him. Okay, he's got a rope going around her wrists to him, and he's trying to use her to help him survive. Okay, he wants to get back to the airstrip, back to the airplane, and use this girl to help keep him alive, okay? He wants her to forage and get food and stuff, because this dude does not know how to live in this jungle environment. He's from Los Angeles or something, okay? He's used to the concrete jungle, not the real damn jungle. So he wants to use her to survive. But she is not the most willing little helper. She wants to get back to her damn tribe, really. And while he takes a nice refreshing dip in a giant mud puddle filled with leeches, okay, this girl slips out of the, I don't know what the hell you call it, vine rope that he fashioned, and her ass is gone. She takes off. Dude catches up with her, and let's just say something happens between the two that is not, there is a confrontation between the two, and things happen, okay, and they end up getting together, you know what I mean, and I don't know, somehow this girl says, okay, let's see, Sean says there was animal violence in Cannibal Holocaust too. Yes, and that was made by Ruggero Deodato also. Gary says you're going in and out. I don't know. There's nothing I really can do except stay the course and hope that the signal is going to stay with me. I'm trying. But, yeah, this dude resorts to savagery. This modern man and civilized, quote unquote, man ends up kind of going backwards. And anyways, let's just say something happens between the two, and it leads to them getting it on, and she ends up helping him. She catches him fish, she finds him berries and nuts and slugs and grubs and shit like that to eat, and starts providing for him, right? Well, they end up running into Robert's old buddy Ralph. Okay, they find Ralph, and in the meantime, every now and then they see a chopper flying around, right? So that's giving them hope. Well, Ralph's doing not so hot. Here he tore up his knee in his raft ride down the waterfall. And it is, what would you call it, very infected and pussy and nasty and shit. And he's like trying to put mud and stuff on there, thinking that the enzymes in the mud will kill the bacteria. Well, guess what, Ralph? It isn't doing shit to help your leg. It looks horrible. Okay, Ralph's leg looks terrible. All right. And Robert, meanwhile, has this chick who is now down for him. All right. She's following him. She's no longer on a leash. Yeah, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? Girl on a leash. Well, that's a movie. I didn't make the damn thing. So, but now she's sticking with him, and, they end up running into these tribal dudes. Again, the men of the tribe. They run into them, and these dudes are chasing them down, and they're trying to stay one step ahead of this tribe. And they're trying to get to the plane, and the two dudes, Ralph and Robert, figure this chick has got them going in circles. She's trying to get them headed back to where her tribe lives, is what they figure. And then, anyways, they're running their asses off. The girl gets captured by the tribe. Okay, two dudes keep running a little bit, and then they turn around, try and go back, see what happened to her. Well, I'll tell you what, these people in this tribe did not waste any time, conked her on the head, and then we are served up to her being served up for a nice little scene where it's so out of place. The music is completely out of place. They've got this romantic sounding music that would make sense if they're showing the rainforest and some beautiful waterfall and lovely birds flying around the trees, but no, they've got this slow, melodic, beautiful, romantic music playing while these cannibals are cutting up this lady and preparing her to eat. Okay, they're splitting her up and putting hot stones in her and cooking her. Okay, and not much is left to the imagination. And this is all being done to this sweet, pretty music, I guess you'd say. Completely out of place, you know. I mean, it just... And I look over at Vinny, and he's like, why do they have this music going during this? You know, why do they have this pretty music playing? And I'm like, I don't know. It's so outrageous, you know? But they do. And so the girl, obviously, you know, she's getting served up. She got turned into spare ribs. Now, the two dudes see that she's getting munched on, and they're like, okay, well, let's keep looking for the plane, obviously. So they take off, and they get to a spot where it's overlooking a valley, and they can see the airstrip. Okay, it's still far, but these dudes are like, we got this shit made. And I'm like, still looks like it's like 2 miles or so in jungle. You know, and you're saying you got it made. Well, they keep working their way closer. They find the river and stuff and all that good shit. And Robert has a run-in with one of the tribal dudes, and they get in a spear slash tomahawk kind of fight. And one thing I didn't mention was that earlier Robert and Ralph found a poisonous cobra, and Ralph took the cobra and milked it over the end of Robert's spear tip, okay, to get poison on it. I didn't mention that part, okay. So when Robert and this tribal dude get in this fight, okay, Robert slashes tribal dude, and it looks like Robert falls down and is about to get hit with the stone axe, about to get killed, when the tribal warrior dude falls over dead. Obviously, it's from the snake poison, because Robert didn't really do that good of a job fighting him. So, what Robert does is, in front of these other tribesmen who are in the jungle watching this fight happen, he ends up cutting out this warrior dude's liver, pulls it out with his hands, and starts eating this liver in front of them. Thus showing all of us that Robert finally kind of flipped his biscuit, kind of lost his shit in the jungle, and has reverted back to complete savage, man. Eating this dude's liver, but I don't know. I'm guessing he was trying to show them, you know, I'm not to be played with. You know, I'm gonna eat your livers. You mess with me, kind of thing. You know. You know the message. I'm sure you've done that before. So, Robert and Ralph do make it to the airplane. They do get it started. They do fly off, but Ralph ends up dying inside of the airplane. Okay, I guess he succumbed to his wounds, the infection in his leg, and, you know, but Robert is alive and flying off, you know, probably to Manila, you know, to big city in the Philippines, back to civilization. And but that's what happened in the movie. So I just summed up the movie right there. But yeah, there's lots of violence, lots of graphic stuff. One of the tribesmen, I don't know if he did something wrong to piss off the tribe or whatever. He's tied up. His arm is tied to about a 4.5, 5 foot high anthill. Okay, his arm is tied to that. He's given some slashes across his forearm, and these ants go ahead and eat through dude's forearm. Okay, pretty graphic, intense stuff. Now the movie, What do you say about a movie like this? What do you say? Do you say it's a good movie? Do you say it's a horrible movie? Do you say it's trash? Do you say it's sheerly exploitation? I'd say it's a lot of all of those. If come out, I'm not going to dance around skipping circles and say about how lovely it is, but there is one character in this movie that really stands out to me, and that's the jungle itself. The jungle is very alive, very loud, and the jungle is just a huge part of the movie. Yes, there are all these brutal and terrible things happening in this film, these stomach twisting things that are happening, and shocking scenes. Okay, there are all these things happening in the movie, but this movie was shot on location, and it shows the wildlife, the plants. Let's see, Sean's saying, I say it's not the best movie to show at family movie night. No, definitely not. Like I said, Vinny turned 18. If he wasn't 18, I wouldn't have let him watch a movie with me. I don't care. And he's mature. He's been very mature for many years. But I would not let somebody under 18 or invite somebody under 18 to watch a film with me. Period. It's just, I wouldn't forgive myself. It's that raw and that in your face. And but what, I'm not going to go into my opinion on whether it's right or wrong for these massive scenes of violence or whatever. I'll let other people decide that. Okay, I'm not going to go into the actual whether they should have this and that in the movie, or but that is, this was on the UK's video nasty list. This was a do not show this film in the theater movie. It was banned in the theaters, and I can understand why. I can understand why, but nonetheless, it was made. But what it did do successfully, even if you took out some of them scenes, some of the animal scenes, okay, that people were so outraged over, if you took out some of these scenes, and some of the brutal violent scenes against people that take place in the movie that do make it seem like it's just exploitation, then what you do have is you do have a story that does pose an important question, I think, and that is that if you were put in a similar situation, such as Robert, let me see, I even got his whole name here, Robert Harper, okay, stuck in these jungles with tribes that are still living in the Stone Age, okay, would you have what it takes to survive? Would you revert back to a caveman style way of doing things? Could you do that? Could you? Would you end up turning into the violent beast that we're all capable of doing? Or would you, give up and say, screw this? I'm not doing this shit. Would you have what it took to resort to the way people lived back in the days, and all around the world, and that was with brutal violence at sometimes as means to survival. This man Robert did go backwards, if you want to say man's evolved at all. This man went through some de-evolution and went backwards and went unga bunga and shit. But obviously, he still kept his wits about him because he did make it to the airplane. He did fly the damn plane out of it, you know. See, Sean says, if I go near these places, I'm bringing a machine gun. Yeah. That's interesting that, well, you bring up gun, and I didn't mention that earlier. When these guys ended up stuck with just their plane, they did have a shotgun, but it didn't do them a whole hell of a lot of good. Maybe a machine gun would have done them better. But it also didn't help that they did not know this damn jungle at all. So, I mean, they were out of their element completely, you know. But, yeah, you get to see a modern man turn into a quote-unquote primitive savage. And I say quote-unquote because you know, living in a modern city with electricity and all that shit, you know, it's easy to say, oh, they're primitive or whatever, but I don't want to call people primitive, but say they live in a more primitive lifestyle, I guess, which, you know, which I guess if I grew up that way, it'd be state of the art, you know, but anyways, you know, I'm so far removed from that, and most of the people watching this are very far removed from this world that is filmed. Okay, you know, buy my meat from the grocery store. It's already packaged. Okay, you know, some of us civilized people, in a civilized society, still hunt and go out and capture our own game and don't leave it up to somebody else. So I think those people are a little more in touch with how man used to have to live just for daily survival. You know, people who hunt are closer to that. But myself, you know, I mean, they're still not as close as these people who are, you know, I mean, shit, whether or not you capture, kill something in these jungles means whether you live or die. You know, that's a totally different story. But yeah, I buy my food from a store. I don't have to forage. I don't have to hunt for it. Very removed from the brutality, the of life and death with each decision I make. You know, I mean, it's, you got enough money, you go to the store, you get yourself something to eat. You know, it's, so I think the question that this movie throws at you is, would you have what it took if you ended up being in that situation? You know? What do you think, Sean? How would you, how do you think you'd fare in such a situation as old Robert Harper? Oh boy, this dog is barking about something. Let's go check it out and see what's going on. Make sure there's not any major disturbance in the force. Alright, still with me, guys? Alright, let's see what's the big hullabaloo. Okay. It's the neighbor dogs. Alright, now let's get in here. My dog's going crazy because all the neighbors' dogs are going crazy. Alright. I don't know, some kind of utility person is out at my neighbor's house, so all the dogs are going bananas, so my dog feels she's got to chime in there, you know. Let's see. Sean says those tribes still exist today. Very well may. I don't know if they're still in that neck of the woods exactly or not. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are, tribes that, you know, live in some of these places. New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, South America, places like that. I don't think I said it the other day, but there's people out there, if they listen to this, they heard about that movie, and they're probably thinking, Paul, what the hell is wrong with you, dude, watching that kind of shit? I've had an interest in I don't know if you'd say Aboriginal cultures or Native cultures or, people living simpler since I was a lad, okay? And what helped pique that interest in me was when I was a little boy, I remember hearing about one of my great uncles who lived on an island in what is called the New Hebrides, okay? Which I think is in the Pacific somewhere. And I was told about how there were cannibals and headhunters who lived on this island where my uncle was living. I was told about this at a very young age. So that immediately got my attention as a kid. What the hell, headhunters, shrunken heads, eating people, shit like that. So I was intrigued from a very young age about native cultures, and especially like in the South Pacific and rainforest, and headhunters and cannibals. Always been interested in that stuff. Sean says, if you can't beat them, join them. Just kidding. I don't know what I would do. The only thing I would think to do is slaughter them with my machine gun, and if that doesn't seem to work, I guess I'd have no choice but to give up and let them eat me. Alright, Sean's gonna go out fighting. Yeah. I'll tell you, if you watch the movie with an open mind, okay, if you go into the movie with a very open mind, it's a scary movie. It is. It's if you put yourself in this Robert dude's shoes, it's terrifying. If you imagine this shit happening to you, it'd be terrifying. Like I said, dude gets stripped, tied to a rock, stripped naked, messed with by the tribe. Like I said, I'm not going to go into detail, but they're touching him and stuff, and it's uncomfortable to watch, especially when my boy Vinny's over here. He's 18, mind you, but he's just like, oh my gosh, what am I watching? And I haven't watched this movie for years, so I'm not gonna say I don't remember the movie at all, but it was watching it last night was a big refresher. We'll put it that way. Some of the things I couldn't remember just how intense they were, and them messing with the dude while he's naked is very uncomfortable, to say the least, and disgusting too. But it happened in the movie. All right, that's all I'm saying. I'll leave the right and wrong shit up to you guys as fellow viewers. If you guys want to see the movie, Jungle Holocaust. Here it is again, backwards vision. Okay. Now, this DVD, I've had it for years. What's cool about it, I'll show you inside, are some of the, I think, lobby cards, they call it. Let me see. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Production stills, posters, promotional materials from around the world. 10 lobby cards, reproductions. Okay, I'll show you some of these lobby cards to the movie. These are pretty cool. Mondo Cannibale. And this is Robert. And here's the tribal chick who he ends up sort of befriending. Let me see, here's another one. Here's them in a cave doing some cooking out. This is when they finally found his friend Ralph. Ralph's in the background. You can barely see his head there. He is... this is his cave. They find him. And what's interesting about Ralph is the actor who plays Ralph is Ivan Razumov. Okay? And that might not mean shit to you now. But what's very important about Ivan Razumov is he was in not one, not two, but 3 cannibal movies during the big cannibal boom, the Italian cannibal movie boom during the 70s and 80s. Ivan Razumov was in 3 of them. And more importantly, he was in the first one that kind of helped start off the whole boom of Italian cannibal movies. And that was The Man from Deep River, which unfortunately I've never seen, I don't have access to, or else I'd be reviewing that first. Let's see, so that's them hanging out. Okay, here is Robert and the chick. I'll just let you kind of figure out what's about to happen there, alright? Here they are. Robert's eating a catfish. She got him, and she's eating some slugs or some shit in this picture. These pictures are great. Here is the cave they're in. And they have tied up here, right here, a crocodile. Okay? But that's the cave. I mean, enormous cave. Here's Robert tied up. Okay, let me find him. Right there. He's tied up, and that is where they see if he can fly. They pull him up to the top of this cave and let him plummet. Boom! And then stop. Just a few feet from the ground. And here's Robert and the chick and his buddy Ralph trailing behind them because he's got the bum leg. Looking for the airstrip. Now here, one of the tribesmen trying to take advantage of the chick. Right here. Old Robert doesn't let it happen. You see, he's got a big ass rock. He stops that shit pretty quick. So there are some, scenes of, attempted rape in the movie too. Yeah, it's vile in a lot of ways. Now here we have Ralph. He is milking a cobra, and he's putting the venom on Robert's spear. That's what ends up saving his ass. What's up, Joe? Going over Jungle Holocaust here. I'm showing off some of the lobby poster cards, they call them. And here is Robert he's still got his clothes on. Okay? So that is early on. So those are the pictures. Let's see. Sean says, yeah, when I first watched Cannibal Holocaust, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. That was almost too much for me to handle. I almost had to turn it off. But for some reason, I decided to watch more movies just like it. Interesting. So you were put off by the movie, thought it was horrible for whatever reasons. I got a few guesses, but turned around and ended up watching more movies just like. I don't know what happened. Looks like we might have lost Joe. Maybe Joe's not a Cannibal fan. Who knows? But wow, isn't that weird? You end up turning around and watching more movies just like it. It's weird how that can happen, isn't it? But yeah, just talking about this movie, that's why I put, today's show is grown folks only, period. Because, my God, this is subject matter definitely not for kids at all. So, you've watched a few cannibal movies, which I'm going to have to scan back over. What was that one I said I did not see? Because I didn't write that down. If you could refresh my memory. With that title, because I'd seen Cannibal Holocaust, seen Green Inferno. What was that one? There was another one you had on there that I have not seen, though. So, share with me, and I'll jot that down in my little notebook. Yeah. What a damn movie, though. I mean, Jungle Holocaust. I didn't remember really. I didn't remember it being so creepy. Maybe I watched it kind of with a different set of eyes last night. Let's see. You think it's so horrifying? Sean says, I think it's so horrifying and gruesome. I just had to see more. Okay, Against Nature. Thank you. Is the name of that one movie. Okay, I'm writing it down on my list. Against Nature. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that flick. To be honest, I've never even heard of the movie. So, wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. Against Nature. Yeah, definitely I'll be checking into that movie. But Jungle Holocaust, let's see. Somebody who's already seen Cannibal Holocaust, would I say watch a movie? 100%. If you've seen Cannibal Holocaust and can handle that grim and in-your-face kind of exploitation, there is exploitation in it, I mean, then Jungle Holocaust is definitely watchable to you. Now, if you've never seen Jungle Holocaust, should you see Jungle Holocaust? Well, I would say if you did not watch this whole video right now, then you need to watch it from beginning to right now, and then you'll know whether or not you want to watch it. I can't. It's one of those things I can't say, oh yeah, you need to see this movie because, shit, there'd be a lot of people hating me if I said that. I mean, so I can't say that. I mean, some things you cannot unsee. And this movie is full of those kind of things that you wish you had never seen. So, I'm not going to recommend it to everybody. But, the next movie I will be watching is, let me find my little card. Yeah, is Slave of the Cannibal God, which was made the following year, 1978. Okay, this is what I'll be reviewing tomorrow. I'm going to be watching this film tonight. This movie, I've had it for years, okay? I've watched it before, but it's been years since I watched it. Years. So, I can't give a fair opinion of it tomorrow if I don't rewatch it. Okay, it's been that long. So, I gotta watch it again. Oh, Sean says, Against Nature, it's definitely not for everybody. I'm sure if it's anything like what we're talking about here, it just isn't. Now, Teresa, my wife Teresa, she absolutely will not watch stuff having to do with cannibalism. Completely, the whole subject throws her off. She is not about it. She just, there's nothing appealing or intriguing to her. The whole idea of cannibalism, is an abomination. Which, I don't condone cannibalism, but for some reason it intrigues me. It really does. I don't know why. I don't know. It's something that fascinates me. But you heard about why I got interested in it from a young age, reading about it. It's been a subject matter that I was told about when I was very young. And grabbed my attention and imagination. But yeah, cannibal movies. It's what's for dinner. So tomorrow I'll be doing Slave of the Cannibal God. And that's going to be an interesting one too. It's because there's a couple real actors in the movie. Okay, these aren't just nobodies you've never heard of. What's up, Jimmy? Today I've been talking about Jungle Holocaust. Jungle Holocaust, man. If later on you want to watch the whole thing and I give a whole synopsis of the whole movie, I just went through the whole spiel. Sean says these movies are definitely more gruesome than Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Hills Have Eyes. Yes, they are. Which I believe my son Vincent compared The Hills Have Eyes to something like a kindergarten movie compared to what he had just watched when we watched Jungle Holocaust when he was talking to his mom. And he's right. Really, they are. There's not that Hollywood horror feel at all to these movies. These movies are unapologetic completely. They don't give a shit what your feelings are. There are scenes of beauty right before and right after some terrible, terrible scene of cruelty. Okay? Then there's something beautiful, the jungle, some flowers, some plants, animals, or whatever. And there's just no excuses made in these movies. Okay? They're in your face, and I could see probably the first time I watched one of these movies, I probably felt very much like I was being subjected to a punishment. I'm trying to think back to when I first saw one of these. The Italian cannibal movies I've seen was Jungle Holocaust. So it's kind of fitting that I reviewed it first too. But I think when I first watched it, I felt like, I was being subjected to some sort of punishment on my mind and spirit. It's definitely, they're gruesome. They are. You're right, Sean. They're very gruesome. There's, can't say much else about them besides, they are gruesome. But like I said, it's so weird because it's the movie's so cool because of the jungle. I mean, the jungle is cool. It's fascinating. There's so much rain, so much growth, plants. Things are. You got all these things struggling, and they're living and thriving in this habitat, this environment. But other things are getting killed brutally. Sean says, when Cannibal Holocaust first came out, everyone thought it was a snuff film. You're right. And a big part of the reason behind that was because of that is what they wanted people to think. When they made Cannibal Holocaust, which I'll talk about that in detail when I do the Cannibal Holocaust movie, they wanted people to think this was recovered film from deep in the rainforest, deep in the jungle. These people had gotten killed, and this was what remained of them. That is what they wanted. The actors were sworn to secrecy about the film. They didn't want the actors' faces to be seen anywhere. They wanted these people believed to be dead. Blair Witch Project pretty much kind of ripped that whole idea off of them, and when they came out, they wanted people to think that was real shit too. But, Cannibal Holocaust, and we'll get to that. We'll talk about that movie in depth. If you like that, which sounds like you did, Sean, you're going to like Jungle Holocaust. Okay, you're going to like it. You're going to dig it. Now, here's another thing. I'm just getting this out there because, I imagine there's people who are going to be watching this and they're going to be like, Paul, those are not the first movies about cannibalism ever made. True you are, my friends. However, out of the movies I own, out of the films that I own on my person that come from the 70s, 80s Italian cannibal movie genre, Jungle Holocaust is the earliest one I have. So, yes, there are movies, and I think even Tarzan movies from way back in the days that talked about cannibal tribes too, and jungle pictures that were out a long ass time ago. But I'm not talking about that genre. I'm talking about, this week is about the 70s, 80s Italian zombie. Wait, I just said zombie. Cannibal thing, which is interesting, okay? Because there is an Italian zombie / cannibal movie. It's kind of a crossover movie that I have in my collection too. It's called Dr. Butcher MD, also known as Zombie Holocaust. And it is a mashup. It was made in the 80s, early 80s, and it is a mashup of zombie and cannibal movies, okay? They're both in here. You got zombies and cannibals, same movie. I might do a review of that. Already, though, I already have about 7 movies or whatever that I'm trying to watch and review, so might not get to Dr. Butcher MD. That might have to be a standalone thing sometime. But yeah, so what's going on with you, Sean? You excited about Cannibal Week? Is it, yeah. You know what, Sean? I am going to check out This Against Nature. I'm going to check that movie out. Yes. Cannibal Week. Oh my gosh, why in the hell am I doing this? Ah, boy. Well, somebody's going to enjoy watching this shit. Somebody's going to have to, damn it. Let's see, oven standard time is 12:27. I think I'm actually going to log off of here. Talked about the film for today. And, if you guys, if I got your interest, tomorrow I will be reviewing Slave of the Cannibal God. See, Sean says, yeah, man, I might have to see some of the flicks that you mentioned. Well, good. Check them out. But I say, if you dare, okay? I don't want to be blamed for any nightmares, okay? Sean says, have a good day, Paul. Sean, you have a good day, too. Thanks for tuning in to Wasted Lunch. And everybody else who's watched, thank you for tuning in. I do this Mondays through Fridays, noon-ish. Try to be on here at noon, and I end up backing these up on my YouTube channel at Paul McVay Originals Universe. All these Wasted Lunch episodes get backed up on there, so if you want to see old ones, check it out. Thanks for tuning in. Be careful. Have a great day yourselves, guys. Stay out of trouble. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.